Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, coming at you with yet another new deck from the new pack. Well, not a new deck, this one is actually a pre-existing archetype. This one is going to be Ritual Beast. So I did decide to go in on this one too, and spoiler alert, I did also craft the Goblin Biker URs, so definitely look forward to that. Probably going to be on Tuesday after the viewer special, if I had to guess when that video is going out. But for Ritual Beast here, I'm really excited to talk about this deck because I have definitely had quite the experience trying to learn and play it. It's definitely been it's been a little bit tricky, but before we get started, as always as ever, I do this at the end of every video, but here at the beginning too, I want to start giving some thanks to both the YouTube members and the Patreon members, without whom these videos would not be possible. If you're interested in seeing this content here on the YouTube channel much earlier than it comes out, then I would definitely go ahead and check out the YouTube membership program. You can click the join button to get more info about that. Or if you're looking for more different content that goes out every single day and is full length, that is to say at least about 15 minutes or so, then you're going to want to head over to patreon.com/xlex, where we post that daily exclusive content. We also have some coaching tier options if you're interested in that as well over on Patreon. So links to both of those are going to be in the description below. But going on to Ritual Beast, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that this might be one of the more complicated decks in the current metagame. Ritual Beast is a really strange deck because it's kind of convoluted in how it plays its combo line out, and a lot of people would argue that for how complex the combo is, you don't get that strong of an end board. Now, I still think the end board is quite good. You do get to end on negates and disruption and all that fun stuff, but I don't disagree with the fact that getting there can be a bit of a challenge, right? The main thing that you need to keep in mind when playing the Ritual Beast monsters is that they all share an effect that they can each only be special summoned once per turn. That's kind of like the archetype's drawback, so to speak, right? So that is something that, of course, like I said, you have to keep in mind. And as you're cycling through your Ritual Beast cards for your combo line, what you're going to be sending, banishing, is entirely going to depend on what you're trying to summon, which of course is entirely dependent on what you have already summoned. Now, full disclosure, I am not going to pretend like I'm an expert on this deck. Not even close. In fact, one of the games that you're going to see here is going to be me kind of hilariously fumbling my way through the game and still kind of winning it anyway, but we'll get to that game when we get to it. But I will link in the description below some resources that I used as far as like looking up Ritual Beast combo lines. Oh, you know what? I don't remember the YouTuber's name off the top of my head, but the video was so helpful. I really would like to kind of shout them out. Top Deck was the YouTube channel. They have a very extensive combo line for how to play Ritual Beast that's like over an hour long. Was shared on my Discord server, and I checked it out, and I found it to be an extremely helpful resource for comboing. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, link that in the description below. Huge shout out to them. I directly use their video while playing these games to try to help myself get, you know, more familiar, or not even more familiar, just familiar, period, with the combo lines, right? So yeah, definitely got to give huge shout outs there. So some things to note about particularly playing this deck in Master Duel, though, that I did want to talk about too, right? You know, one of the big aspects of this deck is the fact that you can very easily weave in the line to search the Nemesis flag. We can do that with the Infernal Flame Banshee, which can either grab the Arch Nemesis Protos, which, as we know, especially if you played against Sword Soul, this card is quite good as an endboard piece, or you can grab Nemesis Corridor and go for the Thunder Dragon Colossus. So which do you go for? I think that's kind of a big question when playing this deck, right? And trying to figure out how to build your end board. Now, in the TCG, it tends to be favored more to go to Protos, from what I can tell. I'm not, again, an expert on this deck, but it tends to be more favored to go into Protos. However, I think one of the main reasons people like going into Protos more often is that it's a best-of-3 format. So it's not hard in general to know what your opponent's going to be on, right? And not just because it might be game 2 or 3 and you already know their deck, but like you got to figure when you're playing in the TCG, right? When you're playing in paper play, you're always going to be playing in a tournament format, and you know, you're very likely probably going to be playing in a locals or maybe a regional because, well, that's just, you know, where people play the most often. So in that kind of a setting, there's a decent chance you're like familiar with the person you're playing against, and you probably like there's a decent chance that, again, that you probably already know what they're going to be on, especially if it's locals, right? You're up against your friend, like, you know what they're going to be on, so of course it makes sense to go into Protoss more often than not, even during game 1 in TCG. But in the world of Master Duel, not only are we all, you know, just kind of names on screens to one another as far as like interpersonality goes, but we also are in a best of 1 format. And in my opinion, in Master Duel, it's probably better to go into Corridor and then end on the Thunder Dragon Colossus. The thing is, like, Protoss is of course an extremely powerful effect, but the main reason why I don't like going for it on turn 1 is that it's a coin toss, right, as far as what attribute you're gonna call, right? You can call Dark, and that's quite effective, of course, against Yubel, as well as a plethora of decks out there. But there are these 2 little decks out there that are fire attribute that maybe you've heard of them. One of them is called Snake Eye, and the other is called Tempai Dragon. So it really does kind of become this kind of coin toss as far as deciding like what you want to call, and that's kind of the main reason I really don't like going for Protoss, I think, on turn 1. The Thunder Dragon Colossus is kind of a more blanket floodgate as far as like what kind of decks it can affect. Of course, there are some decks that just don't need to search for their combo line, where Colossus might not be as good, but those tend to be more rare, right? Now, if I will say this much, if my opponent made me go first, right, and I knew they were on Tenpai as a result, then I think I might be inclined to try to call fire with Protoss, because there are some lines, I believe, with Tenpai, the Colossus's floodgate effect won't stop, right? So I guess in that situation, you do know you're up against Tenpai. If specifically you lost the coin flip and they let you go first, then I think Protossing for fire might not be that bad of an idea. So, what else was there? There was one other thing about specifically Master Duel format that I wanted to mention. I guess Shifter is kind of a thing. I could talk about this in Tenpai too. It's interesting, between Tenpai and Ritual Beast just being released, more Tenpai than Ritual Beast really, I've found while playing Shifter in both this and Tenpai that it doesn't even really feel that good. I'm not talking about, like, I don't know, because again, a lot of people like to attach morals to Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I always find really weird personally. I don't feel morally bad for activating Dimension Shifter. It's a piece of virtual cardboard. It doesn't say anything about the character of a human being. And again, I'll say, if you genuinely think that playing virtual pieces of cardboard alone determines the character of a human being, you desperately need to widen your worldview. But no, the thing that doesn't feel good about playing Shifter is that it doesn't feel impactful. I've noticed this while playing both this deck and Tenpai, and it's not just, I think, because there's so much Tenpai in the format. I don't know. I use Shifter against other decks in the meta, and just kind of seems like they just chill. And half the time, I don't even have the ability to play through what they're able to put up under Shifter anyway. That's not to say I'm not trying to be like, guys, is Shifter actually a really bad card? Because I'm not going to argue that it is. Of course, Shifter is an excellent card against a lot of decks. I just don't know if this particular meta in Master Duel right now is one where Shifter is like super great. And I don't know, once like Malice and stuff comes out, that'll definitely continue. Like, Shifters stopped seeing play in the OCG, from what I remember in their latest OCG meta report, right? Because of Malice, right? Because if you Shifter a Malice deck, you're just gonna, like, they just get to go off twice as hard. So, yeah, I don't know. As powerful as Shifter, you know, as powerful as the effect is, might not even necessarily be seeing a lot of play moving forward for various reasons, but of course, I'll still be playing the card in this deck. But I have actually debated taking this out of Tenpai, but that's its own other thing. Anyway, I've yapped on long enough. I am going to break this deck down card by card because it's new, of course. Well, again, some of the cards are new, but a lot of us probably aren't the most familiar with a lot of the Ritual Beast cards. So let's break this list down card by card, and then we'll start looking at some games. So we're on one Ritual Beast Tamer Lara, one Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara. These are two different cards. Just make sure that you're making note of that. There's old Lara and new Lara. So We got 3 Maxi, 3 Ritual Beast Tamer Elder, 1 Nemesis Flag, 1 Ritual Beast Tamer Wen, 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 1 Spiritual Beast Apelio, 1 Spiritual Beast Petalfin, 3 Spiritual Beast Canahawk, 3 Spiritual Beast Rampengu, 1 Spiritual Beast Tamer Winda, 1 Nemesis Corridor, 2 Dimension Shifter, 1 Nibiru the Primal Being, 1 Arch Nemesis Protos, 2 Ritual Beast Inheritance, 2 Emergency Teleport, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Ritual Beast Steeds, and then 3 Infinite Impermanents, and that's going to be our main deck. For the extra, we are on 1 Ritual Beast Ulti Apelio. I don't even know if you actually need this. Like, I think I saw it in some lists, but I actually don't know. I might have actually put this card in completely by accident, but again, I'm not an expert on this deck. 2 Ritual Beast Ulti Canahawk, 2 Ritual Beast Ulti Nakiu Drago, something like that. 1 Thunder Dragon Colossus, 1 Ritual Beast Ulti Gaia Pelio, 1 number 41 Baguska, the terribly tired Tapir, 1 Infernal Flame Banshee, 1 Ritual Beast Ulti Himunu Falcos, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Axis Code Talker, and then finally 1 Ritual Beast Ulti Ryutari. I think I said that one right. I don't know. Anyway, let's just go and take a look at some of these duels. Okay, my first opponent is going to be on a 60 card Voiceless voice deck. I don't know why they went into 60 cards. I was looking at their list and it kind of seemed like the additional 20 cards are just like floodgates and magical mallets and some more hand traps, but anyway. Going second here, I'm very glad that we do. Looking at a hand like this, opponent's going to lead with Saphira, Dragon Queen. I am going to use the Ash Blossom on that to negate. If they have Low or the Skull Guardian, I can use the Imperm on that, and that should hopefully be enough to do it. But thankfully they don't have any plays, they're just going to have to set 2 and then pass. Drawing the Nemesis Flag here, I'm just going to set it with 3 cards. I will say that I should have probably just summoned this in attack mode and battled. The misplay, I don't know why I made this misplay. I've never made a misplay like this before. It's because I'm not very familiar with the card, but I thought its stats were inverse for some reason. Like, I thought it had 200 attack, 1100 defense. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just set it then, that's fine. But then I actually clicked, I was like, oh, yeah. It doesn't matter. In fact, setting it debatably is still fine. Like, of course, the 1100 chip damage could end up mattering, but also keeping the monster face down and not letting my opponent know what I'm on is also pretty good. You could play Nemesis Flag in multiple decks, but I think it's a pretty good indicator that they're going to be on Ritual Beast. So here's one of those magical mallets I was talking about. You'll notice that I'm going to let it resolve. I'm not going to use the Ash Blossom on it. There is a debate, I guess, potentially to use the Ash Blossom on Mallet. The idea is that, oh, if your opponent's activating Mallet, at least some of their hand is bad, and so, you know, you can stop them from recycling that. The problem is you don't know until the card resolves exactly how many they're going to put back. If I knew they were going to Mallet for 3, I think I probably would have chained Ash Blossom, but without knowing that, they could have just Malleted for 1, right? And then I go to Ash, and then their other 2 cards can just be plays. So I didn't want to take any chances there. I generally think Ashing Mallet is not worth it. I'm going to Imperm the Diviner here, really hoping they don't have the Trias thing, the level 9, but it's a 60 card deck, so it's not very likely they do. They're going to throw another card face down, throw down a face down if you will, and pass back over to me. Here is Rampengu, which is enough by itself to combo out, so the Canahawk is also another 1-card combo line as well. Gonna go for the Rampengu here, they are going to Imperm it, but I'm not particularly, like, upset, because I can just flip up the Nemesis Flag here. They're going to chain D-Barrier and call Fusion. This is 100% fine, because I was literally just going to enter Battle Phase anyway. I don't know... Well, I guess I know why they did this. It's because they kind of panicked, right? And they weren't really sure how my deck played, and they decided to just... Well, they also might have seen the Nemesis Flag and been like, oh, I don't want them to summon Thunder Dragon Colossus, but I don't have any banished monsters, so I can't anyway. This is one of those situations where I think keeping a level head and mostly just knowing what your opponent is and isn't capable of is very, very important, right? So, but yeah, I'm not particularly scared to just end on these 2 cards and then pass, which I actually am going to do here because I have both Call By and Ash Blossom. You might wonder, well, why wouldn't you make SP here? The reason is that the Nemesis Flag can add the Protos on the follow-up turn, but more importantly, the Rampengu can activate on the follow-up turn, because the thing about Rampengu, is that, and both Nemesis Flag, is that they are not like on summon. They are just, you know, during your main phase, right? They're just once per turn during your main phase. So, yeah, by keeping them around, we get to use their effects on the follow-up turn to have even more plays and even more advantage. So, also went for Corridor instead of the Protos there because I'm pretty sure Fire and Wind were the only attributes we had access to. I don't think I could have actually summoned the Protos there. So, yeah, there is that first duel. Yeah, like I said, I don't know, my opponent went up to 60 cards just to include all these weird Floodgate cards and Magical Mallet, which I generally don't think it's worth it. And that was pretty evident here by how poorly they ended up drawing. But let's go ahead and check out our next duel. Alright, so here we have a game against Labyrinth. I've actually been seeing quite a bit of Lab on ladder, and it makes sense. If people are anticipating a lot of Tenpai, then it definitely makes sense why people would want to bring Lab into that matchup, right? Got a pretty good opening hand here for going second again. We got Maxi and Ashw. So they're going to throw down the Lab, and then Chandragalier pitch the Lady Lab for the Welcome Lab. So we have the Ashw, so I'm feeling pretty good here. They're going to set one more card before passing back over to us. Now, this hand is actually phenomenal, by the way. As I touched on before, Canahawk is actually a one-card combo line by itself. But Elder plus Canahawk can actually let you play through Nibiru as well. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about in the deck profile. So when it comes to playing Elder and Canahawk, right, there are two different ways to play this combo line. One is a little more greedy but gets you more stuff, and the other plays around Nibiru. When it comes to Master Duel Best of One, I prefer to play the greedy line, actually. In TCG, it's completely understandable, especially in tournament play, which almost all TCG play is. It's completely understandable why you would want to play around Nibiru more often. But in Master Duel Best of One Ranked Ladder, I think you just take the gamble. If they have Nib, they have it. If they don't, they don't. Plus, Nib stocks are actually kind of at an all-time low because of Tenpai right now. I don't think quite as many people are on Nibiru, so another reason to take the greed line. Anyway, I'm going to go for the Elder here. Opponent's going to chain Maxi. You'll notice that I'm chaining Italy and nothing else. And you're probably wondering, Hex, what are you doing? You have this Ash Blossom. Why would you not use it against the Maxi here? Because context clues. Not even context clues, just knowledge I have, right? I know my opponent's face down card here is a Welcome Lab, and I'm weighing the options in my head, right? And I'm like, you know, I think I value negating the Welcome Lab much more highly than the Maxi here, especially if I kind of just pass and don't really do much more, or if any, special summoning, right? So here's the Welcome Lab, here's my Ash Blossom. They're going to chain D-Barrier and call Fusion, right? So that's actually completely fine with me, because like I said, I was kind of thinking about not summoning anymore this turn anyway. But I will use my Maxi against their Lab, which they're not going to use to bring back the Lady, right? Yeah. Get to draw a card there. Gonna normal summon the Canahawk. So here I decided to go for the Protos to call Dark. This not only gets rid of the Lady Lab, but also makes it so they can't special summon monsters on their next turn. And my original plan was to just kind of like battle here and then pass. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, you know, maybe I should just try to win this turn. That's why I banished New Lara, you know, but didn't activate New Lara the first time I banished her off of Protos. Because the first time I banished her, I wasn't thinking about comboing out. But now I am, because I'm like, well, I'm close enough to lethal. I might as well try, right? I can go for the Link 2 here. Oh, but duh, they used D-Barrier, so I wouldn't have been able to... Yeah, because my plan here... I'm such a dummy. My plan here was to, you know, get enough damage by summoning the ulti Nakio Drago, but I can't do that because they D-barriered. Okay, so there was no reason for me to play into their stuff here. But it kind of works out because they're just gonna Karma Cannon here, and I'm like, you know, this is fine. Because I already would have given them one draw off of summoning Protoss anyway, so this really isn't any different from where I would have ended up. I just have, you know, fewer resources, which is of course not ideal, but... Oh yeah, I always forget that adds into it. It's literally a Gold Sark effect. I'm going to start by flipping up Protoss and calling Dark. I just want to make sure I get that out of the way so I can stop any follow-up plays on their turn if needed. I'm going to try to go for the Pengu. They're going to Ash Blossom. That's fine. Also, they didn't banish with Ice Dragon's Prison because I think they're different types, right? Don't they have to be the same type to banish? They're the same type as each other. Yep, this is Thunder, and this is a Beast, and this is a Worm. So, gonna go for the Elder here, and I'm trying to think if I would have been able to combo out. I should have been able to, right? Well, because I can summon Ulti Canahawk, and I have stuff banished, so I should have been able to make plays here. Either way, they're going to concede here. I actually kind of wish they hadn't conceded here. I really would have appreciated the opportunity to practice comboing when not on turn 1. Because that's kind of the kind of thing, right? In solo mode, you can practice turn 1 lines all you want, but there are a lot of situations where the combo line you do well into the game when you're trying to find lethal is a little bit different. But anyway, we'll have future games to practice more. I do have one more duel to show you. Let's go ahead and finish off with that one. All right, this last duel here, I alluded to this game earlier, but I have to reiterate something I said at the top of this video, which was, don't expect optimal gameplay here. I definitely do misplay here a little bit. So, going first this time, I'm going to throw down the E-Telly, and I forgot to activate Shifter. That was my first big misplay. Holy, I didn't even remember that part of it. Yeah, I forgot to activate Shifter, so that's always good. Going for the Ulti Canahawk here, I'm going to summon out my Rampengu and Ren, because I haven't summoned those yet. Also haven't used Rampengu's effect. What do you even add here, though? Yeah, an Elder, because, like, what do you even summon here at this point? Okay, so Rampengu, Milling. Oh, because I get to extra normal summon the Elder off the Link 2. Duh. But I don't have another thing to normal summon. But I guess I just have the normal summon. Oh, I get to add off this. Oh, no, duh. This was my mistake because... Okay. I thought that I could use both of Ulti Canahawk's effects, like, you know, more than one time per turn. Like, because the first effect is the soft ones per turn, but... I was not able to activate the second effect again here. I actually think it might be because I summoned everything already. Potentially? Yeah, because I used this to summon out Elder, and then just set 2 and pass. Oh my god. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I think the most embarrassing part for me is that, like, I'm well aware that I misplayed, but honestly, right now, I'm not even sure if I see what the actual line here was. I don't think I had a clean combo line, right? Because I started with what? Wen and E-Telly. I'm pretty sure E-Telly is not a one-card combo by itself, and I don't think... Well, I don't know. There's probably a million different things I could have done, but if anyone is more knowledgeable in Ritual Beast, I should have said this more at the top of the video, but if you want to let me know what I could have done better here, of course, aside from just activating Shifter... Oh, wait, you know what? If I'd used Shifter, Wen would have had targets. Yeah, I definitely fumbled here. I mean, I knew that already, but I'm starting to see how I did. I mean, if nothing else, we have Imperm, we have Ashw, and we have Ritual Beast Steeds, so we should hopefully be fine. Although I do make a misplay here with Ritual Beast Steeds, I remember, because this one was just plain me not reading, right? They go to activate the continuous spell, and I'm like, cool, I can blow it up and their monsters with Steeds, except, oops, Steeds only destroys monsters. I thought it just destroyed cards. So, not quite as good as I thought it was, but, Alright, Druid Storm is going to target the Link 2. I can put back the Link 2 and summon 2 out of my Banish, so that's not a big deal. Alright, here's the Pengu and the Wen. Druid Storm target's gone. They're going to use the gates to bring back Spirit of Yubel, but thankfully I have the Imperm down, so I'm just going to Imperm that. It'll stop the search, and it'll also prevent it from, you know, protecting itself in battle this turn, if that ends up being relevant. I don't think it will be, but... And they just conceded at that point, so I got kind of lucky here. But I mean, if nothing else, I feel like this just shows the power of Ritual Beast, right? Like, look at me fumbling through this hand, having no idea what I'm doing, still able to end on like 5 monsters on my opponent's turn while also disrupting them with hand traps. And like, you know, at this point, I was like, okay, I have 5 monsters on the field. If I can't find lethal at that point by going for like a Nightmare Unicorn Access Code line, then I need to seriously reevaluate what game I'm playing here. So, well, thanks for your patience, for watching me fumble through these Spiritual Beast games. Again, if you are knowledgeable about the deck and have any advice you want to throw in, as always, ever, I do very much welcome that. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Thanks, as always, for watching. Let us go ahead and move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.